This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. If you followed the news since Friday, you know we have a situation on our hands. I've been very hesitant to speak about what is being talked about online as a coup, an attempt to overthrow the government by Donald Trump. Even though he is presently part of the government, he didn't win the election. And so trying to remain in power outside of a free and fair election is a coup. But I've been hesitant to talk about it because it's serious. It's a serious accusation to make. And I couldn't sleep last night. I woke up this morning at about 4:30 a.m., putting out a video on Sunday, which I maybe never have done, because this is a rallying cry. Every single one of you watching this video right now needs to be prepared to take to the streets if Donald Trump follows through with the meeting he had on Friday, or was reported about Friday, which intends to initiate martial law in the United States, led by disgraced, traitor to America, former General Michael Flynn, and his lawyer, Sidney Powell, the QAnon ding-dong, the conspiracy theory nutbag who has been disavowed even by Donald Trump's own campaign. And we're learning now that Donald Trump is floating the idea of appointing her special counsel with about 30 days left before Joe Biden takes office. What kind of an investigation could be done in that time anyway? Appointing her to be special counsel to investigate the election fraud that did not happen. The same Sidney, I've got notes here, I'm not even following them now. The same Sidney Powell who lost 59, or Sidney Powell et al., 59 of 60 lawsuits related to the claim that there was rampant voter fraud stealing the election from Donald Trump. Bill Barr, Donald Trump's hand-picked lapdog attorney general who's resigning just before Christmas, even he says, nah, no voter fraud. 59 of 60 cases dismissed. The Supreme Court saying, pound sand, get out of here with this BS. And now there's meetings in the White House with Michael Flynn and Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani in an attempt to cook up martial law, to declare martial law in the United States, or at least in the states where Donald Trump lost, to redo the election. These patriots who go on and on about their love for the country and the flag. Don't kneel in protest. You gotta love the flag. You gotta respect the flag. And then they intend to overthrow the government. Because martial law is suspension of civil law and replacing it with military rule. That's what it is. Their plan that they're floating is to send United States military troops into the streets of the United States, or at least the streets of the United States where Donald Trump lost. Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Donald Trump is denying it. He tweeted yesterday, martial law equals fake news, just more knowingly bad reporting. How often have we seen Donald Trump proclaim something to be fake news, which ultimately obviously is true? Because that's his get out of jail free card. But the only people who believe him are the MAGA morons, his cult, who are welcoming this coup, welcoming martial law, despite the fact that Congress has made it illegal, the Posse Comitatus Act. Donald Trump is denying this. However, Michael Flynn was just on TV on the conspiracy theory network du jour, Newsmax, talking about this very thing.
He could order within the swing states, if he wanted to, he could take military capabilities and he could place them in those states and basically rerun an election in each of those states. I mean, it's not unprecedented. I mean, these people out there talking about martial law, it's like it's something that we've never done. Martial law has been instituted 64 times, Greg. So I'm not calling for that. We have a constitutional process. We clearly have a constitutional process. I think you highlighted some of that in your previous segment. That has to be followed.
How dare you, Michael Flynn, talk about the law needing to be followed as you advocate for martial law in the United States like we're the Philippines or something. Disgusting, un-American, traitorous talk, seditious talk of insurrection is what this is from a former general. Remember, the same guy who whipped up the crowd at the RNC in 2016 to lock her up speech. Here's a brief moment from that, because I want you to keep this in mind. This is who is advocating for this. The same guy, the lock her up chant. The same guy that says, we don't need a president who believes they're above the law.
We do not need a weak, spineless president who is more concerned about issuing apologies than in protecting Americans. We do not need a reckless president who believes she is above the law. Lock her up. That's right. That's right. Lock her up. I'm going to tell you what. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. All right. Unbelievable. That man, that clown shoe, who's talking about we don't need a president, a reckless president who believes they're above the law, wants to suspend civil law in the United States and replace it with military rule. The same man who talks about people not being above the law, who broke the law and had to be pardoned by Donald Trump because he's a felon. Or was prior to the pardon. This is insurrection. 18 U.S. Code Section 2383, whoever incites, sets on foot, assists, or engages in any rebellion or insurrection against the authority of the United States or the laws thereof, or gives aid and comfort thereto, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 10 years, or both, and shall be incapable of holding any office under the United States. Yeah. Further, he would lose if convicted of this, which I believe there should be an investigation and charges should be brought. But if convicted, he would not only not be able to hold elected office in the United States, he'd lose his military or veterans pensions. Because this is an actual legitimate attempt, not legitimate as in it should be done, but this is a legit attempt to overthrow a free and fair election in the United States of America. The New York Times reported this on Friday. Trump waited naming election conspiracy theorist as special counsel. In a meeting at the White House on Friday, President Trump weighed appointing Sidney Powell, who promoted conspiracy theories about rigging vote machines, to investigate voter fraud. Reading from the article, Mr. Giuliani joined the discussion by phone initially while Ms. Powell was at the White House for a meeting that became raucous and involved people shouting at each other at times, according to one of the people briefed on what took place. Ms. Powell's client, retired Lieutenant General Michael T. Flynn, the former national security advisor whom the president recently pardoned, was also there, two of the people briefed on the meeting said. Mr. Trump tends to think of Justice Department appointees when he describes special counsels, but those briefed on the meeting said the idea was for Ms. Powell to serve as a special counsel within the White House, appointed by the president, according to those briefed on it. Mr. Trump also asked about Ms. Powell being given security clearances to pursue her work, two of the people briefed on the meeting said. Ms. Powell accused other Trump advisors of being quitters, according to people briefed. And then, in an effort apart from this, that Mr. Giuliani is attempting to move forward, is to have the Department of Homeland Security commandeer voting machines that aren't their property and investigate what went on. Mr. Giuliani has separately pressed the Department of Homeland Security to seize possession of voting machines as part of a push to overturn the results of the election. Three people familiar with the discussion said, Mr. Giuliani was told the department does not have authority to do such a thing. Now, the alarming part of this, I mean, it's all alarming. It's what roused me from my sleep to get up on a Sunday and do a video here. But one of the other reasons it is especially alarming is that even the trolls that work within the White House for Donald Trump are alarmed by this. Even the diehards who have chosen to serve this fascist are a little freaked out. Jonathan Swan, writing for Axios, officials increasingly alarmed about Trump's power grab. Senior Trump administration officials are increasingly alarmed that President Trump might unleash and abuse the power of government in an effort to overturn the clear results of the election. These officials tell me, Jonathan Swan, that Trump is spending too much time with people they consider crackpots or conspiracy theorists and flirting with blatant abuses of power. Their fears include Trump's interest in former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn's wild talk of martial law, an idea floated of an executive order to commandeer voting machines, and the specter of Sidney Powell, the conspiracy-spewing election lawyer, obtaining governmental power and a top-level security clearance. A senior administration official said that when Trump is retweeting threats of putting politicians in jail and spends his time talking to conspiracy nuts who openly say declaring martial law is no big deal, it's impossible not to start getting anxious about how this ends. People who are concerned and nervous aren't the weak-kneed bureaucrats that we loathe, the official added. These are people who have endured arguably more insanity and mayhem than any administration officials in history. Might I remind you who this Sidney Powell is? She was recently on Newsmax talking to these clowns that are the new Fox News. They make Fox News look like every anchor is Walter Cronkite. They are the QAnon channel. They are the vile representation of the culmination of 4 years of Donald Trump and his assault on America. This is Sidney Powell. Watch this.
We're very clear on the law and the facts on multiple issues, and we haven't even begun to present the big fraud case yet that I am still working on. And it's going to be a blockbuster.
I mean, it's interesting. Obviously, I mean, you guys had the news conference this week. There was a lot of compelling stuff in there. It sounded like you guys were making progress going down a road of investigation. But as I think anybody understands, when you're trying to lay out a case, it takes time to find out what you have. You had a bit of a rub with Tucker Carlson this week, who basically said you didn't have any evidence when they asked you to come on. What is the truth of the matter there? Because that made a lot of news.
Oh, yes. Well, he sent me some very abrasive and disrespectful emails or text messages, and I responded politely, offering him a different person as a witness who could explain it. I simply didn't have time to do it then, and I sent him a copy of one of the compelling affidavits that we have in the case. And apparently that wasn't sufficient for him. He was having a little bit of a tantrum.
Blockbuster, she says. Even Tucker Carlson doesn't buy it. Even Tucker Carlson doesn't buy it. Blockbuster case. 59 of 60. She's lost. Listen, this is dangerous talk. There's been all kinds of hyperbole throughout Donald Trump's 4 years. Some of it leans toward truth. Some of it is just paranoia on the part of a lot of people who fear the tyranny that he would bring. But we are here now within the last 30 days of his administration, and there is a real possibility of him attempting to declare martial law. He's talking about it with his stupid, fat fucking mouth. He's entertaining the idea. A sitting president of the United States of America is earnestly talking about martial law. When I open the video talking about getting ready to take to the streets, there will be an uprising that will make this summer, which was about police brutality and the murder of George Floyd, it'll make that look like a block party. Prepare yourself. Steel yourself for the possibility that you may be needed in the street to share your voice. Who knew that we would ever face a situation like this in a modern America? This is the stuff of fairy tales. This is the stuff of fiction. This is the stuff of banana republics. Not here in the United States. Anyway, I certainly would love to know what you think. 714-576-4054. Email me daily at dollemore.com. I would love to hear your opinion. If you disagree, am I paranoid? Am I overblowing this? I'd love to know. I'd also love to invite you to consider to support my work here on YouTube. For as little as $2 a month, you can become a channel member, supporting my independent analysis, my independent commentary. If I'm not for you, if there's somebody else out there who brings you that value, please support that person, even if it's not me. That's fine. It's important right now that we have voices like mine, including mine, but like mine, to scream about these things. We are on the verge of losing our republic to this ham-fisted moron. Donald Trump hasn't read a book. Donald Trump maybe hasn't read a book since high school. He is a stupid, stupid man, followed by stupid, stupid people, sinister people. Anyway, I love you guys. Follow me on social media. I'll see you next time. Until then, be genuine. Take care of one another.